Hello, this is Mordred Viking, and I would like to welcome you to a slightly special episode. This is not going to be in the regular Civilization series, but rather talking about the patch that just came out. Would have been yesterday for you guys. This patch has changed a good number of things, a couple of changes there that I was really hoping that they would make, and the game should be a lot stronger because of it. For those of you who do watch my regular series, I do apologise for some spoilers. I've skipped a couple of turns ahead. I haven't actually done anything in them. And if you haven't watched today's episode yet, then there is some other stuff off to the right, which I'm not going to show you right now. But, you know, stuff to look forward to. Right, so what has actually changed? Well, the first, biggest, and most awesome change is finally you have the ability to change the name of a city. And the way to do that is you click on the city. Oops, that's a settler. City. And then toggle city details. Then up here, you click on the city name and you change it. So we can call this, for example, whoops, if I can type, Mordville. There we go. This is now the city of Mordville. Marvelous. Happy about that. There is now a UI change which shows where a city will grow to. This is a little bit obscure, but the way you get to that as well is you click on the city, then you click on Manage Citizens, and it will show in the Manage Citizens screen where the next growth will be. So you can see that Mordville will next grow up here, and it tells you how long until that happens. So 34 turns until border growth up there. Fantastic. There is apparently, and I haven't seen this in play yet, the ability or a visual representation if a barbarian scout has been alerted to one of your cities. I am assuming that they glow green or red or something like that. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently that is something that you should look forward or look out for. A couple of changes to actually before we get to that. Another change in the cities is if you click on the city and click on the Managed Citizens, it should now be possible to see the number of specialists you have working in a city. So for example, I have a commercial district here with a market built. If I click on it, I can see that there is one citizen. I'm going to assume that more icons appear if you have more citizens, more specialists working in that city. I can't show you yet because I'm not that far through this game, but that is apparently where that will be shown. Cool. Now, one of my big complaints about the previous Germany game actually is religion. Religion's had a couple of things wrong with it. They still haven't fixed it quite to the level I would like, but there's a couple of changes. The first one is when you first start a religion, the religious pressure of that city has been increased, so they are more resilient. They are more resilient and will be able to actually convert that city. You will remember, if you saw it in the previous series, Aachen was itself unable to convert itself, even though it was the holy site or the holy city. So that has apparently been adjusted. Another one is the price of missionaries has been increased. So there should be much less AI spam, and to kind of counter that, the number of spread uses that each missionary has also been increased. So there should be fewer missionaries running around, but they will individually be more powerful, meaning that you probably do actually want to engage in some theological warfare of some description. So that is good. I think that was all the religion stuff. So unfortunately, they don't seem to have touched the pressure exerted by individual cities or anything like that. So the main tool for converting is still going to be missionaries, but if there are less missionaries out there, then hopefully that's going to mean overall city pressure is going to be more important. I don't know, I haven't seen the balance on that. I'm still not convinced by the power of religion in this game. It seems horrifically expensive for what you actually get out of it, particularly as you're using up a valuable district slot, which as Germany is a lessened penalty, but it's still pretty hefty. And the fact that they just don't seem that good for the price, because you're having to devote time to building the shrines and the temples, and then spending faith on the missionaries and things like that, rather than building units with the faith or building or whatever. I'm not convinced. Okay, so a couple of diplomatic changes. Firstly is reduced warmonger penalties in most instances, and adjusted how this reacts to returning versus keeping a city. The last city conquered from a player now provides a heavy warmonger penalty, even if you have a casus belli against this player, because you are wiping out a civilization. So just generally, the the impact of Warmonger seems to be reduced, or rather you get less Warmonger for doing stuff. This did seem particularly a problem when you were declaring war with a CB, not a surprise war, but any other war. It sometimes seemed a little off, so hopefully that's been fixed now. I'm sure there was another one. I think there was another Warmonger change. Oh, yes. If you are in a joint war, so say I was allied with my buddy here in Norway and we did a joint war against Scythia over on this side, then any cities I took from Scythia would not affect the warmonger of Norway. They wouldn't get pissed off with cities that we took in the joint war against our common enemy. Kind of surprised that wasn't the case already, but apparently it no longer is. So that's good. Adjusted the AI understanding of declared friendship. This is not something I'd myself come across, but I assume from having read about it that if you declared friendship with an AI, they just kind of ignored it and would just backstab you and declare war on you anyway. That should no longer happen. A couple of big changes to the AI, and there are actually a number of AI changes, so this is a good thing. Adjusted the AI approach to beginning and ending a war based on potential gain and loss. Now, in my previous Germany game, we had a couple of wars against Russia and I think against Greece, where they attacked us, and then just as the tides of war seemed to be changing in their favour, they backed off and peaced out. Well, now they should be able to recognise that they have the potential to gain stuff from you, and so should press that advantage more than they had done until then. That is a good change. I'm pleased about that. AI should use more Inquisitors, so that should mean less missionaries just spamming around, but they should be using Inquisitors to defeat your own missionaries attacking them, so they should be a bit more defensive. That was a religion thing which I'd meant to add. Sorry. Religion. Cool. Okay, another AI, and this one is absolutely massive. Tuned AI... No, that's not it. Where's it gone? I've got a list of them. Here we go. Increased AI value of upgrading units. Thank goodness for that. So even if an AI is in the modern era and has access to anti-tank units, they should no longer be, fielding spearmen and warriors. I've seen that happen way too often, considering the technology the AI has at their disposal. So you won't be able to see it just yet in this because we're still in 550 BC. We're early, but you should no longer have an advanced nation using spearmen and warriors. They should actually upgrade of their own volition, and also the build priorities of AI cities has been changed, hopefully to reflect that as well, which is good. The AI will also no longer prioritize construction of siege units like catapults and bombards and things like that. Basically any unit that cannot move and shoot will be less favored compared to units that can move and shoot. So you should see less catapults and more archers, or less bombards and more crossbows, for example. That's good, because they did seem to like building a lot of those, and then they would move them and they wouldn't shoot, and they were like, what are you doing? A big bug, which I had not noticed myself, but would have been a significant problem in the Sumeria game had we continued that, fixed a bug where the first military levy that expired would return all levied units, including those levied from other city-states, to that city-state. Now it should only return the levied units that actually originally belonged to that one city-state. So for example, if you are playing a game where you have lots of city-states that you're the suzerain of and you levy loads of them, imagine you levied units 2 or 3 turns after the original. Well, all of the units that you've just levied, even ones that you may have levied that turn, would be returned to one city-state. That would obviously strip you of a whole bunch of your military forces. That's one problem. Secondly, they would all go to that city-state, who probably wouldn't be able to support them all. So that is a pretty big bug, which I'm very pleased they fixed. I'm very pleased I hadn't noticed that one myself. That's good. Another big problem that I had, particularly in the Gorgo games, because it happened in both of them, fixed an issue where multiple leaders of the same civilization would frequently show up in a game. So both of my Gorgo games, we had fake Gorgo appearing. It's like, what? That is so immersion breaking. Well, that should now no longer happen. And in fact, is something that is disabled by default when you're starting a new game. That is something you can toggle. So if you want to see multiple personalities, or multiple of the same personality appearing, you can now do that. But by default, that's turned off. Great. There are some additional icons for espionage promotions and the like. I'm afraid I can't show that one off, but anything which improves the interface, which has been annoyingly basic is very much appreciated. And also, and this is kind of an interesting one, if you click on a unit and then right click on their unit icon, it actually opens up the Civilopedia screen for that. So for example, on warriors, right click on you, it will tell you that this is a melee class unit. And if you happen to know somehow that melee units are good against anti-cavalry units, then this is the place to see, although it still does not actually display the fact that melee units are good against spears anywhere on the actual screen, which is the kind of information you really should know. Trade route yields on the report screen has been added. I haven't seen this. This is the screen I really wanted available routes to, actually show available routes. I have got one trader. I haven't built the second one yet, but this is where I want to see those available routes. It says in the patch notes that has been changed, but not in the way I would expect. I'm not actually sure how that has been changed. Maybe some of these have just been updated. Nope, I don't know. Updated city banners. I don't know exactly how this has changed. I kind of suspect it's made the growth and production a little clearer. I don't remember precisely what is different here, but yeah, growth and production seems to be a bit more prevalent with the number of turns left, and I think like the total numbers spent. So Mordville being 1 turn away from growing would be less of would have taken less time than Berlin being 3 turns away and having that tiny little bit left to go. Something like that, I don't know. Updated display on what cities are getting amenities from each resource. Now this is something I had asked about and something I cannot show you yet because I don't actually have irrigation. So I have no amenity resources yet. But I believe that you'll be able to click either in here or whether they appear up there on the top. You'll be able to see precisely which amenities go to which city. So that is quite a welcome change. And then finally, and this is just kind of a hilarious one I wanted to bring up. Removed barbarian data from player replay graphs. So basically once you have finished a game and you're showing the graphs and stuff, it would have displayed barbarian data alongside the major civilizations. Which actually, part of me wants to say that would be freaking hilarious to see the rise and the fall of the barbarian nations, but also it's not really relevant. You want to see how the other nations did. Plus, I guess it would have thrown the statistical data completely out of whack, particularly if there were 100 barbarian units and each civilization had like 7, then that would have compressed all the others, so you wouldn't be able to see them quite so much. Anyway, that was just a quick overview of the patch changes. I don't usually do videos like this, but I thought in this instance it was really useful, particularly as it has solved a number of the issues I personally had a problem with. For example, the AI using warriors and stuff, even though they were post-industrial, atomic era. Thank goodness that's changed. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then do let me know with a like, and if you haven't done so already, then please do consider subscribing to this channel as well. And if you want to see more of this kind of stuff in the future, do let me know about that in the comments. And if there are any particular patch changes that you have noticed, do let me know in the comments. I will try and remember to add a link to the patch notes in the description so that you can check them out for yourselves. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.